Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tech 2 BPOs, the upsides, the downsides, and whether people that own them get an unfair advantage over those that don't. If you like this type of content, then please think about subscribing to the channel. So I'm not going to bore you with the ins and outs, but basically many years ago at the start of EVE you used to be able to win Tech 2 BPOs. That's no longer the case, and the only way to acquire them now is to already have won them in the past or to buy them from people that are currently selling them now. Over the years, Tech 2 BPOs have been getting steadily worse due to the fact that CCP has steadily been increasing invention and basically the cost of invention. So these BPOs don't give quite the advantage that they used to. However, due to the rarity of the BPOs, the fact that you can no longer get hold of them, their value is quite hefty. And the beauty of EVE, that anybody willing to put in the time, the effort, have foresight, can acquire the ISK to buy one. And if you want to get your hands on one, you are looking anywhere between 20 billion and 200 billion ISK. So in front of me right now I have the Nova Fury Heavy Missile BPO, which is a Tech 2 and obviously produces the Nova Fury Heavy Missiles. Now I purchased this recently for 35 billion ISK. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to break down the numbers, the build cost, etc. and work out rate of return and all them other good things. So straight off the bat you can see the list of materials here. Now the difference between obviously the Tech 2 BPOs versus the invention is it does not use data cores, which obviously can save quite a lot, and you get generally, unless you're using data cryptors, but even so you'll still get a better ME and a TE percentage than you will do from when you do invention. Now there's no two ways of putting it, that obviously does give you an advantage over anybody that does not own a BPO. So I couldn't find any in-game, so I've come to an out-of-game website here. So as you can see, the Nova Fury missile takes the electronic engineering and rocket science, and with max skills of 5, 5 and 5 for the necessary data core, data encryption skills, you will get an invention cost of 50,000 ISK per 10 runs of BPC. And that will give you a BPC for 10 runs at ME, which is material efficiency level 2 or 2%, and a time efficiency of 4%, not minus. This is quite an old website. And obviously that's quite a lot lower than the 10 ME and the 20 ME on the BPO. Now the advantage that gives is relatively small, however it does make a difference, and when we start to plug in the numbers you'll see. So if we pull up the BPO in the manufacturing area and look at buying the items, at the moment obviously they're quite high, but we'll do it at that anyway. So that's 1.608 million ISK per 5,000 missiles, plus the installation cost. Gives us 1.608 million plus 13219. Now divide that by 5,000 missiles, so it's giving us a build cost per missile of 348. Now as it currently stands, we'll take 450. So 450 minus tax. 450 minus 5.6%. minus 346 is 76 ISK per missile. So if we take that, we times it by the 5,000, is 348 ISK per 44 minutes. And so we get to produce 1.33 runs per hour, giving us a total hourly income of 510,720 ISK. So that every hour, if we times that by the 24, gives us 12.2 million ISK per day. Times that by a year equals 4.473 billion ISK. Now, if we take the cost that the blueprint was at 35 billion and we divide that by 4.4 billion ISK, it's going to take me 8 years to break even at the current price. So I managed to get a BPC for the Nova Fury, and so here we are. So let's do the general calculations for this one. So we got 1739,021 plus the production cost. Same place, but I'm building the other ones, but obviously with slower build and different ME. So we divide that by 5,000 missiles, it gives us 374. So they're selling for 450 minus the tax. So 425 minus 3 equals, basically we're making 50 ISK per missile if we do it through invention. So we've got a profit there of 50.6 ISK per missile. We've got 5,000 missiles, and we are producing a new batch every 53 minutes. So times 1.1 batches per hour equals 278 ISK per hour. Now, if we minus the previous amount, so the BPO is making 231,700 ISK, give or take an hour, more than what the BPC can. Now, obviously, there are other factors to consider here, that obviously you don't need a research slot in order to be able to create copies and then do the invention, which is quite a big bonus. And a secondary bonus is that you can buy all the materials for a month's worth of production, bang it in and forget about it. You don't have to come back to it every 24 hours or 13 hours or however long it takes to, 23 hours to run a BPC copy through full. So you can literally put this in and just forget about it, where the invention you have to come back to it again and again and again. So one of the downsides with this is that I can only run one line or one manufacturing line with the BPO, as whereas invention you can run 11 lines or more depending if you really want. Also, if the market drops out of this, I'm stuck with the BPO, whereas in the Tech 2 invention you can just move on to something else and then potentially come back when it's more profitable, where I either have to continue producing and stockpile the missiles or not use the BPO. And obviously if I'm not using it, the rate of return for 8 years gets longer and longer. And yet another downside with having all this tied up here, if I want to move this to a different station, or whether I want to move it to a player-owned station or an NPC station, I'm risking quite a lot of ISK in a little package here that could be quite easily destroyed, ganked, etc. Where if you're carrying the BPCs, obviously it can be a bit more hassle, but you are going to lose a lot less ISK in if you do get hit by a ganker. And so the question, I guess, would be then, why would you buy one of these? Obviously with an 8-year current rate of return for it, it's not a great investment. However, it is very hassle free, and again, as I am doing with my channel in general, I do like more passive lined incomes where I don't have to do too much heavy lifting, so to speak. Once I have this in place and the minerals that I need, I can just set it for a month and then not have to worry about it. Where obviously the invention, I'm continuously having to come back. And again, the other point is that I could produce from this for a year and then sell the BPO for hopefully what I bought it for, or maybe slightly more if the market continues going up, who knows. But generally, even that, I shouldn't really make a loss from the BPO itself. But in general, you're just paying for the convenience of being able to produce a month's worth of items without having to log into the game, etc., which again can't be done with invention. And so the ultimate question, is it worth it? Well, it was to me at the time, and I'm quite happy with it. I have owned quite a few BPOs, Tech 2 BPOs over the years, and I have always gotten rid of them, where I have decided that I will be keeping any that I acquire from this point on, and will slowly be growing my inventory. And I'd love to hear what you guys think, whether you think it's a worthwhile investment if you had the ISK, or whether you do have the ISK, whether it's something you would potentially invest in or not. Obviously the sums of ISK that we are talking are vast, and the rate of return is very, very slow when all said and done. And if you made it this far, then thank you very much. Please like the video. If you haven't subscribed, then please think about it. Again, there will be more videos along the lines of EVE economics and basically hints, tips and everything else I can think of to help either newer players or advanced players that just want a little bit of guidance into areas that they've not potentially played, seen or thought about. And on that note, I hope it's been interesting. Thank you for watching and fly safe. Thank you.